All right, guys, we are back again for another podcast from Valleywide Agents here in Arizona. I am your host, Charles Kimball Barrett II, joined with my co-host,
Joshua Ryan Carpenter, since we're using legal names.
Yes, because I have a son and he's the third, and now we're getting confused at the house with mail. So if he has to use his,
I hope you get a fourth.
Have to use mine. So let's get rocking and rolling. Let's jump right into it. First thing we always start with is our news. And when we're looking at our news for the beautiful state of Arizona, we have an article. I don't know if you've read this, Josh. I sent this to you.
Yeah, I didn't read it.
So Arizona, actually, Phoenix has ranked first among industrial markets. We beat California, bro. Like we're doing good.
It.
We're killing it right now.
It.
So this is a beautiful little graph. And in essence, what this says that we are number one. And we're also placed to continue to be number one because we have so much room for expansion.
Yeah, I think that has a lot to do with affordability, the labor laws here. It's a right to work state. So that does create a lot of high paying jobs for people. So we have industrial, we have warehousing. So I'm really excited for this. You can kind of see it, especially in the West Valley. It's kind of like the inland empire of California between like all the commercial and then all of the residential. So it's not meant to be a dig for the inland empire, just trying to put some context.
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, you can Google it, inland empire.
Oh, okay. So
it sounds nice.
It's not.
It's inland and it's an empire. That's all you need to know.
Okay. So I read an article a long time ago how Arizona was prepping to pretty much take on a lot more infrastructure when it comes to industrial. And it's good to see that we're winning because what I read at the time was that it's cheaper to literally truck all of the supplies and all the things that are needed for raw materials and things like that to Arizona and hold them here than it is to keep them in California, just because of rents and pricing and things like that. So it's cheaper to drive them out.
Labor, the whole deal.
So we're in the West Valley, so we get a lot by the 303. I mean, Boeing's over there, FedEx is over there, Best Buy's over there.
Yeah,
it is right off the 10, and my Amazon packages get there like the same day.
Just flying.
Like Amazon's over there. Like it's such an awesome thing. So
no, it's not. My wife they're delivered too frequently. Way too frequently.
That's a part of life, bro.
Oh.
So it says Phoenix delivered 7.16 million square feet of industrial space in 2024's last quarter, placing it number one for this metric. That's a lot of square feet, bro.
I mean, we knew it was coming, though. I mean, all that land around the freeways, it was just time for them to put something up. And how fast those buildings go up.
Yeah.
Dude, it's like slab, and the next thing you know, those concrete walls are coming.
I see the walls, and then it's like
lights out.
Then they're painting.
And they are making the buildings visually nice, like with all the LEDs on the outside.
That's true.
And so they're doing a good job of making sure that they're visually nice. They're not just.
And the last thing I'll read for this before we move on to our next topic is Phoenix led the nation in the industrial pipeline too. So This also shows that there's 22.3 million square feet under development. And it's a projected 5.8% inventory expansion. So we're still, they're not even done.
No.
So shout out to Arizona. That does lead to a lot more jobs, leads to a lot more homes being purchased, even rented.
Correct.
So it might not be bad to buy that investment property. So, and we'll put links to all this stuff inside the description. If you want to take a look at where we got our sources and all that stuff, you guys can take a look.
So if you're not relocating, you may be relocating because a lot of the corporate offices are shifting.
That's
to Arizona.
True.
So that's another thing as we look through Scottsdale, certain parts of the East Valley, certain parts of North Phoenix. We're having a lot more corporate offices even shift over to the Valley. A couple of years ago, we got Swift and Knight, and probably a decade or two ago. But still, like we just have these huge home bases. So
if
the
you're
transfer opportunity is real.
Yeah, if you're relocating and you need help, just let us know. So
we can get you a home from next to your job.
So next thing we want to talk about is kind of cool. I didn't even know this place existed.
You see that?
Josh told me about this. You want to tell us about this?
That's the guy from Nickelback right there, Chad. So is it Revel?
I have no one from
first
Nickelback,
of all, nobody
bro.
in Phoenix is going to look like this. I want to point this out. So, it's an economically diverse situation. You're going to have people in socks at the water park. It just happens, So I can't wait. I can't wait to see the general public on this.
I can't deny that.
We'll see how long this water park lasts. But you know what's interesting is that it's year round. And I think it said there's an indoor portion. So this is actually located in the East Valley. It's going to be great. I mean, anytime we can have water activities.
What city is it in?
It's in Mesa. It's off of Power Road.
Okay.
So I'm really excited for this because, again, you know, it just does get a little mundane in the summertime, you know, with the heat. So we've got 3 water parks now, I think is what that makes for the Valley, right? We have Six Flags up in off of Pinnacle Peak.
Okay.
We have Big Surf, which is in the East Valley as well. And now we have this one as well. So there might be one other one that's smaller.
How much is it? I want to see how much it is.
Great Wolf Lodge. They have an indoor water
true.
park. Yeah, that's like a hotel indoor water park. So
people love and hate that place. I thought it was.
Smell.
Is it?
It's the smell for me.
I've never been in there.
Indoor.
I have clients who tell me it's amazing.
Yeah.
But I've been seeing a lot of shade on like TikTok and stuff like that.
It's the smell for me, dude. You get in there and you got that funk with the chlorine and
okay.
I don't know.
So look at these prices. So if I want to learn how to surf, it's $119 per session.
They need better models. We need like regular Americans on these surfboards.
These are Americans.
That's not inviting at all.
That's not at the park?
Your boy's 3% body fat out here ripping. We need dad bods at the park.
We have the San O. I don't know what that means, but that's 129.
You're just looking to enjoy long board rides.
Lowers are 140. I don't know what any of this stuff means. VLAN, and then you can do private. That doesn't seem. It seems expensive, but like you could do it.
I would do it though. I would do it. I think that even for the people that are moving from California that love to surf, there's a large surf culture. Boogie boarding. I'm sure they're going to allow you to boogie board out here. I mean, it'll just break it up. It'll be fun for the family. I really think it'll be good.
Are they drinking while they do this? Is there? If it's a park,
I hope that they do.
This could be
alcohol.
very interesting.
Yeah, they got restaurants on location. Look, it looks great.
Why are there so many beaches in their videos? Are we looking at the right place?
Yeah, look, it looks like they have sand, like a beachfront entry.
They have a restaurant. Is this in Arizona?
Yeah, I'm telling you, it is.
Okay.
We always go to the food. You guys know we're gonna be talking about food.
I love food.
Yeah, like I feel like in Arizona, and even in parts of like the culture of outdoor eating, like we are just wrapped up in that right now. Like when you go to a restaurant right now, it's like inside or outside. Like I'm gonna go sit outside, like just to be able to relax and enjoy the weather.
Yes,
it just really brings everything together. So yeah, I mean, this is gonna be really fun.
This is crazy. This is cool. So shout out to Arizona for getting this. I think if you can put the water in the desert, like you can do anything.
It's an oasis. So you can see the other warehouses in the background as well.
Yeah.
Just piggybacking on infrastructure.
Dude, I am convinced Arizona is getting there, okay? It's going to be the best, the #1 state. We were stationed here. So my dad was in the military. We were stationed here back. My dad initially came here in the 70s, and you could see Luke Air Force Base from like 67th and Bethany, and which now is not the best area, but you know, there was nothing. So when I came here for the first time, it was early 90s, and the 101 wasn't complete. So we were taking 99th Avenue to get to Bell Road where the mall's at. When we left 3 years later, we came back, that freeway was done. All of this area in the West Valley was completely redone. So because we don't really have a downtime for building, I mean, things just... That's a good point. We don't have snow, and people are still working in the heat, you know, early hours. So... And at night, they'll just turn on the lights. It just blows up. So for years, I felt like this place was the best kept secret. And now it's kind of like the secret's out. So the secret's out. So if you're looking to move to Arizona, the secret's out. It's because we're doing this podcast. That's why we're telling the world. Yeah, we'll see about the subscribers. So we do have a mission. We have a goal of getting so many subscribers by the end of this year. So if you find this interesting, helpful, or you just feel bad for us, please go ahead and like and share. But most important, subscribe to our podcast. So that way we know we're doing a good job. Yeah, so I mean, the nuggets that we want to share are obviously topical, and then we do want to get into the weeds, which we'll get into a little bit today. Because, you know, what's the #1 rule of real estate? Location, location. Location, location, location. I feel like the #1 rule of real estate now is affordability, affordability, affordability. So with that being said, we want to go into the location of real estate, and something that we brought up. We may actually go visit this place in person. This is wild. So this is from, what is this? Arizona News. So there's a quick trip right across the street from somebody's house, like literally.
So imagine looking in your front yard and staring at a giant convenience store. And Quick Trips have a ton of traffic. They're extremely efficient. Um,
They
at one
do
point
have
in
a
my
ton of
life, I
traffic.
worked for a beer distributor. Quick Trips sell as much alcohol and beer as grocery stores, if not more, which was fascinating to me. But the crew there at Quick Trip, shout out to Quick Trip, man. They are the most efficient people at working the line.
I'm never upset going to a Quick Trip. They
No.
are a lot better.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, they pay their employees pretty well. But look at that. I mean, to be able to just look in your front yard, the biggest thing is this something that you would entertain? Like, would you be able to look in your front, have your kids play in the front yard?
Would you live there?
Would you live there? I mean, that's the topic, right? So it's just interesting.
Somebody's gonna live there.
Oh, for sure. I mean, somebody will buy anything at the right price, which we'll get into later. But I mean,
We got the Amazon kiosk in the background.
I mean, is it convenient?
I mean,
Absolutely. You know, there are professional snackers in this world.
that's hilarious. So going in the location, that definitely can change your value for this property. If you go to sell this, maybe because there's so much press, it's so infamous online that maybe this is actually makes the house more valuable and doesn't it's not a deterrent. But there's other properties that we have here. Some people don't like power lines. So we have a picture of this particular property.
No, you still got the ad running in the background with audio.
Nobody hears it. Nobody hears it.
I hear it. So
I was gonna
I'm
keep
just letting
going.
you guys know, Sandy.
You're the biggest multitasker.
My senses work. I don't know what to tell you.
So we paused it. I didn't want to stop it because we had already. It's fine. It's fine. We'll go.
So what we want to hint on right now is adverse selling features for a home. So as a lot of you start your journey, or maybe you're looking at Arizona, and it doesn't matter really what state you're in, when you think of location, we want to highlight some of the negatives with the locations, just to be aware, what would happen if you were to get a home. Like, what can you expect? What are things that we look for when we're out with clients that maybe they're wrapped up in the home buying process and they're just not aware. So some of these items that we're going to highlight, they'll actually provide adverse values on the appraisal. Like, it's a negative on the appraisal. So this is more just information of, it's great that we have this expansion and these great water parks and these facilities and all of these things add value and they add entertainment. But I do think it's important, and so does Charles, that as we talk about location, let's start with some of the negatives, because it's a great talking point and it may be something that you run into while you're searching, and we just want to explain how this works.
Yeah, and I want to also point out that this is an active live listing that somebody took this grainy picture.
Yeah.
We were not going to throw anybody under the bus.
We're hiding the address.
This is also a vertical picture. Which is fine if you're looking on your phone, but
no, it's not.
Everything's formatted for landscape.
Quit being nice. Just quit being nice.
So this is literally a house for sale.
All you have.
This one's this is a nice picture.
All you have is your marketing, right? Like, when you're looking at homes online, that's all you have.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean,
that's your resume.
Yeah. So when you start flipping through and you've got a photo that loses resolution and you're not able to actually ingest what you're looking at, it just takes away from the experience. So this one here, you can see the power lines just kind of running through the side.
Yeah, this from the builder probably.
Yeah. So these high voltage power lines, you actually can on some of these hear the constant humming. So I'm an 80s baby. So for me, there was this whole thing about.
What year were you born in?
81. So 81. For me, it was like brain cancer.
Barely.
Dude, so like I remember like jokes about wearing foil hats like to protect your brain from the power lines. Like, I don't know if there's any truth to this. I mean, we didn't really live next to power
lines. I don't
lines.
know either. And I can't get any type of real clarification one way or another on that, because I don't know. I just haven't heard one way or another definitively. And in the meantime, they still push and sell these houses. It's crazy.
So I think the biggest thing is just being aware that the appraiser will notate in some instances, depending upon where it's at.
Yeah.
So one of the communities that we were looking in earlier, and this actually happened to me personally on a deal, was in Estrella Mountain. It's a beautiful subdivision, and the power lines would run through just unincorporated land in the back. and we actually got dinged. We actually got dinged for value due to the power lines in the
They'll
backyard.
subtract it on your appraisal.
Yeah, so they'll do the same thing for freeway. So another picture that Charles was illustrating on there. I don't know where it went. Where'd it go?
I just put our logo.
Oh, okay.
We're Valley White agents, by the way.
He's trying to alternate the cameras that he's looking. He's trying to show all the cameras love, just so
I don't know
what's going on.
where to look. You guys can't see. So this is our second podcast.
We got 4 cameras.
Can we
up
break
right
the
now.
fourth wall? We're really good at what we do. This podcasting stuff is new.
It's
Okay.
and I feel like we're going to implement 6. So there's going to be 1 right here if Charles had his way. So let's go back. So right here, you can see that on the side of this wall here, there's a wall by this van. This is the 303 freeway.
Yeah.
So that's a brand new freeway in regards to ages of freeways. This heads north and south through the west side of the valley, connecting us. It's what, a 4-lane, 8-lane, I guess. So it's 8 lanes total.
Sometimes 5.
And people fly on this. I love the 303. It's hardly ever packed. So
they shot Transformers 2, a portion of it on the 303. That's how awesome the freeway is.
It's just a good plug as well. If you haven't watched Transformers 2, oh, that's the 303.
I haven't watched it.
I don't mind the Transformers.
I was doing an open house and I heard this loud boom and there's helicopters. It was crazy. But they didn't tell anybody because they didn't want like groupies or anything like that.
Because you would have been there.
Crowding the freeway.
With your Bumblebee shirt on?
maybe. So I may have hit that corner. If you go north on the 303 and you turn to where it like starts to go east, there's like 2 exits to where there's like no cops, no exits. I'm going to stop talking, but
you put on Freebird and
it's pretty awesome. It's a good drive. It's a good drive.
So again, not only freeway noise, but also the appraiser will notate the proximity. So what does this mean, Charles? Like when you're looking at resale outside of value, like what do you typically see for homes that we list that have power lines running through the backyard, that have commercial infrastructure in the backyard, freeways? Like what's the typical rule of thumb?
If we're talking about money, you're going to get dinged anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000 is what I see on the appraisals once they come in. Can be more, can be less. But in essence, what it does is if you're buying a house, just keep that in mind, right? So when you buy it, just make sure you go into it knowing that you're going to get dinged. So make sure you get the good value up front, unless it's something special. Maybe this pool is made out of gold underneath or something like that, and maybe that's special to you, whatever.
It does have a waterfall,
but
let's highlight the waterfall.
Yeah. So I mean, it's not to say these are bad homes. It's just something to take into account for your investment if you're looking at value on your house.
And so what I've typically seen in regards to resale of these is, especially in a buyer's market like we're in right now, you're going to have more showings before you get a contract, because people may like the location in terms of the area. They may like the photos, but if we do our job correctly, we will not be accenting these power lines. We will make it a discovery process. So it's definitely what I've seen personally. Whenever I have homes that back major roads, power lines, we just have more showings until we get an offer. Now, if you enter into a predominant seller's market with reduced inventory, they kind of are just grabbing whatever they can. And we saw that through COVID, where people were buying property sight unseen. I know for a fact there are people that live here in Arizona that did not know that there were power lines at their house until they were under contract. And they had to decide so again, these things matter to us, and we want them to matter, or to at least be considered to you, because when I sell somebody a home, I'm always looking at, am I providing, and Charles is the same way, are we providing an asset to somebody that they're going to have an issue unloading? And it is something that we'll disclose to you. So we're not trying to deter you, but we're just trying to inform you of your decision. So again, location is extremely important, but it's also something that as we look at resale, depending upon the market that you're purchasing, and you may not be aware of that, because if it's hot and there's just a bunch of people rolling through. If it's a deal,
it's a deal. You got
exactly. So again, somebody will buy something at any price, and that's why the Youngtown ones, those may be like, I don't think that they've released a price yet on them. I haven't even looked.
Shout out to the West Valley.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, somebody's going to buy something at the right price, right? I mean, it'll sell at the right price. I mean, that would just be an Airbnb.
That's crazy.
An Airbnb come up, dude.
And the gas is on the other side. They don't even need that door there. They just put it there. So
No, they just need to put a conveyor belt to the community, straight to the front door,
out.
just slushies coming through, beef jerky. You know what's crazy at Quick Trip is the grilled cheese sandwich. Have you ever had the grilled cheese sandwich at Quick Trip?
I've never eaten.
I swear it's like 3 cheeses in there, and it's one of those like, whoop.
Is it?
Oh man, we had one after church one time. I bought one for the kids. It was gone before we hit the car.
That's amazing.
So I had
So
to go
nothing
back.
against Quick Trip fruit. I just haven't had it.
Got that Quick Trip kitchen comes through.
So the last thing we want to go over today is our local spotlight. This is somewhere that, again, Josh put me onto. I went there for lunch today, actually. It was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Trapper Sushi. It is all you can eat sushi.
They have a couple locations as well in the valley,
they?
just so y'all know. They're in downtown Phoenix. So I first discovered them in downtown Phoenix. But they're in Phoenix, they're in the East Valley. I mean, so what's the stick? I mean, outside of the food being fresh, like what's the stick?
I just like to eat a lot, man. I'm actually allergic to shellfish. So I don't eat a ton of sushi. And I didn't like it for the longest time because it was like, it wasn't cooked, right? So what I ended up doing was I like the nigiri. Nigiri is like the piece of fish over rice. I can do that all
the
day
rice
long.
Tricks you,
but they're super expensive for like a little piece of fish.
You need like 3
over
pieces,
rice. Yeah, so I can pay like all you can eat prices, and I can just literally sit there and eat as much fish and rice as I want.
You can't stand it,
and also guilt free because. And then if I want to, I can get rolls and all that stuff too. But I'm so paranoid because I'm allergic to shellfish.
Yeah,
it's very rare. I'll eat like a roll that's not like.
Oh, it's not rare. It's raw.
There you go. There you go.
So there's 2 menus. There's a lunch menu of all you can eat that doesn't include certain specialty rolls, and then there's a dinner one. So again, you know, I stumbled upon this place because somebody stood me up for a Suns game. So I strolled in there and I had to figure out who I was going to. It wasn't him on that lifeline. And I was like, dang, all you can eat at the bar? Like, okay.
Yeah.
Like, I wore stretchy pants that day, so I was ready.
The first time I had all you can eat sushi was actually in California. Me and my wife.
On the conveyor belt?
We were, I don't know where we were. Maybe we weren't in California. We went to Chinatown. No, it was Vegas. We were in Vegas and we Googled sushi and it was like all you can eat. It was the best sushi ever, bro. It was amazing. All you can eat sushi.
Is that the one where if you don't finish it, they charge you per roll?
Yeah.
I went to that one.
They did charge you.
Yep.
There's a couple. I don't know.
I went to that one. Yeah, I was pushing the limits.
It was in a good spot.
So guys, location is important, especially to us. So as we talk to buyers who are looking at relocating, or even if they're here in the valley, it's very common that when we do speak to buyers that we identify a location that meets your needs, because commuting is one thing as well, right? Like me and my wife, we commuted from Buckeye, Arizona, all the way to, my wife went to Far East Chandler and I went up to North Scottsdale. So both of our from Buckeye. So it was 3 hours in the car for both of us. Our kids pretty much lived at daycare. So when we work with families, you know, we really try to make sure that, you know, not only are we finding a home that's in your budget, because sometimes people get overwhelmed by the valley. You know, sometimes your approval will push you to an area that you have no choice, right? I call it the drive till you qualify. You know what I mean? For first-time home buyers. So you get, you know, Buckeye, or you'll get Maricopa.
Right now it's Tonopah.
So I mean, we really want to accent, you know, the importance of the variables that you may not be considering, which is your time with your family, right? Because we're all buying a house to take care of our families, right? We want parks, we want schools, all of these things. Safety, right? But also, I don't have a problem with you going to Maricopa, but if you're not working semi-central East Valley, your commute's going to be devastating. So the maintenance on your car, you're going to destroy your car. And for me and my wife, our variable was when gas prices got out of control, we were spending more on gas than we were on our mortgage.
And that's true, but everybody's different. You know, my dad, when I was a kid, we lived in Philly and he commuted to like Delaware to the Christiana Hospital. Boys to Men. So it's like an hour drive and it's a different state, but it's very similar driving from Buckeye to like a Chandler and things like that. Sometimes I have a lot of clients to where they don't mind, like and if that's you, that's okay too. Yeah. Like, because now you can have your home and have your peace completely separate from where you're at. You don't bump into people that you work with at the grocery store.
Charles does not want to do that.
And things like that. I personally love driving, but I don't like traffic. Like I don't like the I want to go, right? Like
Yeah.
everybody else. I'm not special,
Yeah.
but it's but I'm spoiled. You know, I get to be so close to, you know, we're West Valley over here. Nothing against the East Valley. We do that too.
I mean, we sell Casa Grande. So I mean, this weekend
You've been over there.
This
like,
weekend I was in Queen
Josh
Creek.
he still commutes.
Look, the name of our group is Valley Wide Agents, right? So Charles, pull up the Valley.
That's
so
funny.
my thing
now
is,
you want to see the logo.
yeah, look, no, not the Valley Wide logo. I'm talking about the Valley. Show them the
like
map of the Valley.
Hang on, I can only show Valley Wide Agents right now.
There you go. So
you mean like maps?
Yeah, exactly. Just show the Valley. So I was in Queen Creek this weekend. It was an hour and 5 minutes from the house. I don't mind showing in Queen Creek. It's a beautiful area. I think it's the third largest income demographic in the Valley. Like they've ranked really high. I mean, you've got the pecans out there. So, you know, again, like when we look at the development right now in the Valley, the amount of development it's happening right now through Levine, the southern part of Levine down to Phoenix. All of the foothills are being developed right now towards Ahwatukee. Everything is going west. So, I mean, at one point, I mean, I remember when I first started selling real estate, you know, Tonopah was crazy, but now, I mean, we've got a deal right now on 395th Avenue.
I do so many more deals.
Yeah, which is out past the 85, which will drop you down to head towards San Diego. So it's like, you know, the Valley is just so expansive right now, and they've done a great job of creating freeways to kind of loop it all together.
Exactly. That's that 303 right here.
Yeah, and I don't know if they're going to put another one out towards to bring it up and around, because you've got Sun Valley Park just west of that. You can see that connects up into Surprise. So, you know, and as you look, there's a lot of people that when they start hearing about Phoenix, they talk about Mesa, Gilbert, Chandler. These are all great areas, especially for schools. Which is usually the biggest draw. We used to have a lot of people for Intel that were coming out there. I think the Apple factory's out in the East Valley. So again, Apache Junction was all just mobile homes at one point, and now it's just booming. So, you know, I think it's important that as you just start your journey, you know, part of that process is us just getting familiar with your locational needs and understanding where the development and growth is at in the Valley, just to help place your family appropriately outside of power lines and freeways and commercial businesses. So, you know, it's location is extremely important. And, you know, it's part of the reason why some people are moving, right? They want to get out of a neighborhood. They want to get out of a school district. They want to get away from family. They want to get closer to family.
And they also have a carrot, not just a stick. They want to get into places. I've had people moving in the Buckeye just because I hear they have great programs for kids with autism and things like that. Like, so every city has its own specialty and its own niche. And when you go to those cities, you can actually get those services and things that maybe another city just won't have, or it's so densely populated, it's not enjoyable.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like going to Quick Trip. Maybe you don't want to have to walk or park too far away.
Maybe your wife, like my wife, leaves you with the car on empty and tries to be nice, like, oh, hey, why don't you take the truck today? And you're like, all right, cool. And then you take it and there's no gas. You got 3 miles.
I think that's everybody's wife.
No, we don't want to blanket it to women, because I've got some dudes that they're notorious for that. Those are also guys that don't know how to use a screwdriver, and that's okay. We're not here to like point fingers at people. But yeah, so if you guys have questions on anything that's happening in the Valley, by no means are we tied into local legislation that we can tell you what's up and what's coming up, but we definitely do keep our ear to the ground. You know, especially out here in the West Valley, we know a lot of what's going on in the East Valley.
A lot of city councilmen.
I mean, it's the development in Phoenix is just absolutely amazing. So, you know, if you have any concerns, whether it's your property, right? Hey, what would our property sell for today? Here are the locations. You know, one of the things that we'll get into, a big topic, is obviously condition, right? So as you're looking for a home, like what's an acceptable condition? So we'll just kind of hit brief topics as we kind of go through this. You know, we'll get into qualifications, specialty programs for buyer. Like we'll get into all of that stuff as it unravels, but we really just want to stay topical so that we can provide a little bit of entertainment as well as information along your journey, so it's easy to listen to and there's the little nuggets here.
This is true. So if this has been any help at all, go ahead, like, subscribe, and we will catch you on the next one. We do this every week. We'll talk to you soon.
On the flip side.